Hi, my name is i.waitze, and this is a special edition of Michael Talks Tech at GMASA in Bangkok. I'm sitting here with Djoann Fal, who's the co-founder and the CEO of getlinks. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about the genesis of the idea for links? So like what you were doing before and why you thought this would be a good idea. And then, look, you and I have a long relationship in the context of this company. But I really want to find out what you're thinking about how you've iterated it, because it's changed quite a bit from when you first started. So why don't you start with where you were first, and then what you were doing and why you changed?
Sure. So we are a tech talent marketplace for startup and tech people in South Asia. So our goal is to be the platform to help local, Vietnamese, Thai, Singaporean, Philippines to exchange work in South Asia in digital. So that's what we're doing now. From this model, that's a long path that we got. Long story short, during the last year, we started with networking, because that's what motivates us to do with the community. And in few different steps, we moved toward recruitment, because we found out that that was one of the business models we could have.
Do you want to talk a little bit about how successful the recruiting stuff was that you did? Because I think it's really interesting that you're not native here, and yet you took an idea that you had in a platform and built it to a very large platform. So why don't you talk a little bit about that as well?
So,
what's it called?
Links? Or?
No, the platform that you built, the drink entrepreneurs, that we did the social stuff. Yeah.
So yeah, it started from feeling actually that I wanted to be with people who are young and geeks, because I have a background of programming a little bit.
Should I leave now? I mean, I'm a geek, but really.
So most of the people I know are geeks. So that's why I'm happy right now. But at the time, I was not that happy.
I consider myself young anyway, so I'm in both categories.
So yeah, back in Lazada, I wanted to meet people who were reading TechCrunch and wanted to build stuff that makes change.
Right.
So create impact. This is something very millennials, I guess. It's something very like Gen Y, blah, blah, blah.
Very much so, right?
But however, I think it's not only words. I think it's our generation have access to much more information than the present generation, because we have access to internet. We see things going in different countries directly and instantly.
Right.
And that gave us an approach of what's the world and what's the challenge of this world, much more advanced and international than our parents, who had a much more localized version of it. So
yeah,
that's,
if I look at the world the way it existed when I was your age, we had access to information, but most of it was not in digital form at all.
Yeah.
And our ability to actually communicate with people, not just in other countries, but even in other states, was just difficult and expensive.
So the vision and the vision of the world for our parents, I see, were a little bit more narrow, because the only way to see that was TV.
Right.
And
And TV was regional at best, but local normally.
Exactly, much more local. So with the internet, what changed is the information got international, and you got the ability to chat on MSN, for example, with people all around the world.
All around the world, everywhere.
Exactly.
I remember when I first saw, what was it, ICQ, which is one of the first kind of chat mechanisms. Yeah. So wow.
Exactly, and but still the thing is, with those, it was really staying much more with your friends, your college, etc. However, with Facebook and kind of international platforms such as TED or Startup Weekend, we saw some kind of organization who started to connect those cities about content which was shared, like a community. Like people start to aggregate each other around a theme. So for example, people who like cinema, people who like digital, people who like food, and start to connect each other across cities. So it was what I think the offline version of the Web 2.0, where social networks connect people not only online but offline.
Offline as well. Right.
And I found it very interesting when I was doing my studies, and I first started to do that with actually hackers. So we had this, nobody knows that. We have the community of biotechnology and drones, 3D printers, hackers, and we created the hackerspace in Paris, back in France. and it was a very small community. But then they got our Facebook page, and
it's hard to be a hacker on Facebook, isn't it?
yeah,
It kind of defeats
so
the purpose.
I was the less hacker of the bunch, right? I
Right.
was the marketing or whatever.
The marketing hacker.
Yeah, marketing hacker. So yeah, and then from 6 months after, we got like 4,000 people in this group, Facebook group, joining from all around the world, just because it was a very specific niche topic,
Right.
and they wanted to connect with other hackers. So
But
that gave me a
this
sense.
teaches you, right? This teaches you a real sense, actually, excuse me, of the case that you can actually use technology to build a community really rapidly.
Exactly.
Really rapidly.
Get it. You got it perfectly.
Yeah.
And what happened is this group, which was only Facebook, it became offline.
Right.
So we got people coming every week to our open hackerspace.
Right.
And then I realized that you could actually make offline real physical impact
Right.
by connecting people online.
Well, this is what led to the Job Fest thing. It's the same concept in a way.
So that's
same
how
exact concept.
right now I try to replicate these two more interesting things. I mean, more open things.
But you move it away from the hackerspace into the employment space.
Because simply like
it's the same thing.
yeah.
You're just getting a group of people together that have the same interests, and you're just providing them a service of potential employment, as opposed to learning new stuff in the hackerspace.
Exactly.
It's the same
And
thing.
I still think the hacker thing, with the hardware, which is the next step with the IoT, is very interesting.
Very.
And I think that will be something that really interests me in the future. But right now, I try to face. It's an evolution. I think our company, for both Pop and my co-founder and I, are an evolution. And at the beginning, we just wanted to connect people, so we did the same thing. I wanted to meet Asian, local, Thai, because we're in Bangkok, people who were, about tech and creating companies in tech and making impact. Like I want to be with people who like Star Wars and want to see Star Wars happening.
Right.
And I've been so disappointed when I was 18 years old to see that there is no Star Wars, there is no flying cars, and there is no hoverboard. And I think it's the whole generation that we were all expecting that.
I just want a wise guy robot to live with.
Yeah, I mean, there is some weird stuff as well, but still, I still want the hoverboard, and I'm looking for.
What is it, DB8? For your own
So
skill.
you actually have that happening in Kickstarter and those kind of platforms.
You do.
But anyway, I wanted to connect with those people, so I created a small house party like event, just to connect with my friends on a monthly basis who were in tech in Bangkok. Yeah. And from this first time, we got just 50 people, and you actually were one of them, mm-hmm. and then it was cool.
It was really
right?
cool.
It was just simple, just
Really
like
simple. But again, same thing, just a bunch of people with similar interests getting together.
And then I met Kun Amarit from Haba, and turns out he said, "Hey, let's bring that to Haba," and we did it, and we actually got like 200 people. Like, we put Haba on fire. Police came, and that was a bunch of fun. And that was cool. So then I realized that there were people, coming from Itigo, those kind of startup that you hear a little bit, that seed stage startup, and they wanted to connect so bad that they were just coming and staying, and they asked us to do it again and again.
Because particularly in the startup world, right, you're working in a vacuum.
Yeah, nobody understands you.
Nobody knows what you're doing.
No.
You can't even talk to your parents about it. Even
No.
your sister probably doesn't know, or your
Exactly.
brother doesn't know.
That's a
So you
very.
want to get together with
That's
all
a
of them.
very alone stuff, actually.
Right. So if you're working at like Price Waterhouse, you can find people that work at Boston Consulting Group pretty easily, and everybody gets it. I'm a consultant. Whatever you're doing, right, or an investment banker, simple.
But when you pitch what is a startup, first people they are not sure about what's a startup. For them, it can be a SME.
Right.
It's just like starting up a company. So they don't get that it's in tech, or if it's in tech, they think you are like a web programmer.
Right. You make web pages, right? Yeah.
Huh?
You make web pages.
yeah. So they simply don't get it. And your parents, they want you to do consulting or finance.
Right.
They don't want you to.
What are you doing? You haven't had a job in
So then they don't support when you talk about that. I know this case.
I know the case as well.
So we wanted to connect with those people, and it's happened. So the second time we did it in Habba, and the third time we did it in the Hive, and we actually got 300 people.
Right.
And that was a kind of a turnout, because on this day I met, I participated to a hackathon, programmer competition, and named Angel Hack, and I actually met one guy
Greg?
who came to me with an online platform that was actually connecting those startup people so programmer and entrepreneur and designer, together but online. So what we were doing offline, you were doing that online.
Right.
And the app was a web app named like a co-founder match or something like that. Very, very funny. I would say, hey, I have this platform, but I don't have user. I say, hey,
I get the users.
we have those users, but we don't have any way to put the platform. So then I say, okay, let's do something. And then I was about to decide if I was staying in Rocket Internet or going to create this. And for me, I found that I was pretty lucky to have been only in Thailand for like 6 months and already found 2 guys that I had really good feelings already.
You trusted them a lot.
So Pop, you know, when you meet someone, sometimes it just goes very fast, and when you talk, you don't even need to say the details. Boom, understand.
Just get it.
And it was something really, really cool, and we saw that we were building something that makes sense and that help other people to connect. So we wanted to reproduce this experience online. So that's the story at the beginning, and this is how we started this app named Links, which was simply just like a Tinder for business, networking in tech startups. But then we faced many things. First, networking like LinkedIn is good for California, but in Asia, it's a different scale. And when you are young like me, you don't have the trust of the investor. You are not like a multiple exit entrepreneur, so they don't believe that you can actually make it. So you need to try to continue and to show first that you are capable of execution to potentially one day get something. And I thought this one day gonna come faster than that, but finally, it was very long.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I probably have too much information on this, but I don't think in the 4 years that I've been living in Bangkok, I've seen anybody bootstrap the same way you guys have. I don't think I've seen anybody spend less money to build more. I believe that, though. You know that.
So yeah, I had to learn how to live Thai, speak Thai, and eat rice.
Right. Fair enough. What does the future hold now? So you're in an accelerator program, without naming which one it is, right? But you're in an accelerator program that ends soon. Yeah. The outcome of that is a potential investment in you.
So they actually invested already. We got the chance to be accepted in one of the biggest startup accelerator. There's like Y Combinator and 500 startups. Those are the main ones. And we got lucky to be the first Thai startup ever to be invested from the headquarters and join the accelerator.
Right, so not by the local franchise 500 startups guys, but by the head office, right?
It's pretty impressive. That's a good thing, because again, we have been really hustling a lot last year, and this is showing us the direction toward a new year of a different way of building things with no support and trust from people that have been seeing our capacity of execution. And I think the project that we came up with my co-founders of growth hacking a little bit, with offline together with online, with this startup festival.
The startup job festival.
I've been something that proved our capacity of execute quickly.
So that was probably the first job festival ever that had offline to online or online to offline in Bangkok.
Yeah.
How many people attended?
So there is. How
many people were there?
We got 3,500 people.
So it wasn't small.
That wasn't small, and I'm pretty happy about the quality, because we focused only again on tech people, programmers, designers, digital marketers, and those kind of tech people, and it was pretty dense of those categories.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to say one more thing, and then we'll wrap up. But I think it's pretty impressive what you've done and accomplished actually in the last year, coming from like a house party to a funded company to a job fest that's never been done before for 3,500 people. And frankly, I think it's unprecedented, not just here, but anywhere, to have something happen that quickly with that level of execution. Anyway, look, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy upstairs, for sitting down with us and telling us this story. It's really interesting. Really, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Awesome. I'd like to thank Djoann Fal again for sitting down with us. This is i.waitze from Michael Talks Tech.
We have an amazing lineup of guests today. KROL, building apps can be silly crazy. Guillaume SACHET, modernizing media. SHAWN, video ads get personal. NIKKI, ASSAVATHORN, building a mobile game studio. WASIN, THONKAEW, indie games. Djoann Fal, a story of community building and company building. CRV, GMASA founder and sponsor of this conference. NAMRATA KAPUR, insights on cloud services for startups. LAIS de Oliveira, started the Airbnb for office space in Southeast Asia. SAMSON MASIH, 50 billion impressions? Wow. Tal IZHAK, he'll tell us things about online gambling that you won't believe.